So this is a bike I'm using for the upcoming Pan Celtic Race. Now the Pan Celtic Race is a 1,200 mile mainly road race around the north of France, Brittany, and then crossing the Channel to the UK and finishing in the north of Wales. Now the roads are going to be predominantly tarmac, but they are quite small at times. There are some cycle paths which may well be gravel, like a similar surface to I'm on here now, and I've kind of set my bike up accordingly. So the frame is a Mason definition. This is aluminium frame, did actually tubing, made in Italy, painted in Italy, and then assembled over at the Mason barn in the UK. Now it's a bike I'm very familiar with. I used one of the very first versions of this for the TCR back in 2015, and yeah, it's a bike I love, and it's still standing the test of time almost 10 years later. So as I said, the race is predominantly road, but a lot of small roads and mixed surfaces. So the wheels I've gone for, they're actually unreleased at the moment. So this new wheel set is based around the Limitless gravel rim. As you can see, nice and aero, not too deep, but it's got a really wide internal, which is great for slightly wider tyres, more of which I'll come on to in a minute. But it's running 28 holes instead of 24, J-bend spokes, so it's easier to repair when you're out on the road. And yeah, the hubs are, well, the front hub is relatively standard, but the rear's actually got a ratchet hub in it, a ratchet free hub, so quicker engagement, should be stronger and more reliable, and ideal for those longer journeys such as this. Matching those wide rims, I've got some nice wide tyres. Now I'm supported by Rene, and I'm running the Bonjon 35mm tyres here, running them about 50 psi, and basically, yeah, the reason I've chosen this wheel set is I wanted to run this tyre, like I said, mixed surface, and these are designed around a 42mm in the wind tunnel. So essentially it means that they're probably going to be, well, they're going to be just as aero with this 35mm tyre on as, say, the more specific road version, the 42 Limitless road wheel set with the same tyre. So yeah, I've prioritised comfort over full-on aerodynamics, but I think they're going to be just as fast as a more specific road tyre. Over this duration, I just think comfort is really important, and of course wider tyres, they actually have a slightly lower rolling resistance. It's not like I'm doing World Tour speeds, so I don't think I'm going to lose much in terms of drag. And essentially, I think if I spend more time in a nice tucked position, I'll save way more time anyway. So that brings me onto the handlebars and the cockpit. Now, as you can see, running Ritchie carbon bar. I've got Ultegra shifters. These are actually the ones I used in 2015 on the Transcontinental race. And then I've got, they're actually zip extensions, but I think they're profile clip-on bars. It's a bit of a kind of amalgamation of a couple of different setups I've had, but it just allows me to get a nice aero position that is also comfortable. On the top there, navigation is taken care of by my Wahoo. This is a Roam. And then I've got my lighting taken care of. Exposure Max D, probably a little bit overkill, but it fits nicely. This is the light I had, so that's what I'm going to use. Then I've got a little Racewear Direct bracket for my GoPro, and then a little design of backup light just in case I need extra visibility. The drive chain is Ultegra Di2, so I've actually got a Quark power meter on here, so it's a bit of a mashup, but I've got a 52 tooth big chain ring and a 36 small chain ring, and then it's 11/28 at the back, so that hopefully should be enough gears for what I need. I'm running the Wahoo pedals. Now, I've been running Speedplay for years and years. Obviously they've just been brought by Wahoo, so they've kind of been redesigned and rebranded. I've just got myself a new pair. Thought I'd better get a fresh set if I'm about to take on a 1200 mile ultra race. So yeah, they work for me and I think they're great. I have actually upgraded the bearings, so I'm supported by Enduro bearings, as you can see by the stickers on the frame here. So I'm running the XD15 ceramic bottom bracket and jockey wheels. I've actually got ceramic bearings in the headset and also in the hubs. Now these are their hybrid ceramic. They've got a lifetime guarantee, really smooth, and actually they're said to get faster as they kind of bed in, so I'm hoping by the end of it I might notice a difference. Saddle is it's a carbon rails WDB Hightail saddle. They're not made anymore, but I've had them on my bikes for years. So this is one of my last remaining ones, and that's just on a fancy Hope carbon seat post. It's just kind of my regular setup. I've trained on this bike all winter. I've actually got another video, if you have a look on the channel, with this in winter setup. But yeah, it works for me, I'm comfortable, so why change it? As you can see, I'm taking a couple of bottle cages. These are just the wolf tooth bottle cages, and they've got loads of variability on where you can sit them in the frame. Just running 800ml bottles. It's a road race, there should be plenty of resupply, so I'm not taking excess fluid with me. Onto the bags. As you probably know by now, I'm part of the Tailfin R&D division, so I get these fancy bags. Now these are well proven for me. I've used them, well, that one's over a year old. As you can see, it's got not quite as clean as it was when I started. That's the Rwandan dirt from the race around Rwanda last year. But I'm running a half frame pack, Toptube pack. There are production ones now, but I've actually gone for this one predominantly because of the mesh pockets on the side here, just to put rubbish in. And yeah, I find it works really well for me. And then I'm running, this was a prototype rear tail pack. I've decided to run it for this, although I'm shooting this pre-race, so by the time the race comes along I might actually have something different, but it won't be too far different in terms of volume anyway. And that's where I keep my sleep stuff, and then my sort of clothing in the frame bag, and bits and bobs in the Toptube bag. But I'll pull it all now, so you can pull it all out now, so you can see exactly what I've got. I know the bit everyone wants to know about really is what's in the bags, so let's have a little look and see what I've got in the frame pack. This is my toolkit. So I've just got like things like spare brake pads, spare rear hanger, and the tools I need to repair most things on the bike. In here is my down jacket for sleeping in and just keeping warm. I'm going to do a separate kit video, so I won't get into everything right now. I'll dig into more detail in that one. I've got knee warmers. I've got some rain gloves from Descent 133. I've got a merino buff just for those chillier mornings. I've got a rather fancy Rene carbon pump, super light, tucks away in your frame bag, no problem. Couple of little adapters. Now annoyingly, because the race starts in France and finishes in the UK, I'm having to carry two, so I've got a European one and a UK socket. Then I've got the brand new Pertex Albion rain jacket. Again, I'll go into more details on that in my kit video. I've got a hunt cap just to keep the rain out, if it rains that is. Pair of arm warmers. And then I've got my little Albion portable backpack. That's great for going into shops and getting resupply. And then my lightweight gilet, which I just use to take the chill off. Now in my rear pack, this is just where I keep my sleeping gear. So hopefully it should be relatively warm. The race is in July, so I've not packed too heavily. I've got a little inflatable pillow, mainly because I'm getting a bit older now and I'm over just sleeping on hard ground. I do have some rain shorts just in case. These are custom ones from Albion. Again, I'll go through all of that in the kit video. And then I've got my Bivvi set up, tried and tested. And I just roll everything up in here. And I've got a RAB Survival Zone Bivvi. It's actually got a custom insect mesh on it. I've got a RAB silk liner and then trusty Thermarest Neo Air mattress in there, and I can roll that out really quickly. And equally in the morning I can just roll it up nice and tight, everything inside, and chuck it in and be on my way in no time. And finally, just onto the Toptube bag and the little bits I've got in there. I've got my helmet light, just a design joystick. I've got my nice film camera just to take some photos, toothbrush and toothpaste, earphones. Got a GoPro because people like the videos, and then I've got things like Dermol. I use this just to keep things bacteria free. More bacteria free goods, hand sanitizer. Then I've got a small bottle of sunscreen. And then I've got a small tube of Sudocrem. If the Sudocrem comes out, then you know things are starting to go bad. In addition to that, I've just got some chain lube, so I'm just running squirt wax lube for this. And I've got a multi-tool, so I can get hold of it quickly. And then a chain rag and some spare dynaplug plugs. And I keep the dynaplug in the mesh in the side here. That's where I keep some food, some Haribos in there. and I keep the dynaplug in the side just so I can grab it really quickly in case of puncture, so I can get that plug in as quick as possible and hopefully not lose too much air. So that's my bike setup for the Pan Celtic Race. Tried and tested, proven, works for me. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good ride. Check out my kit video as well, and don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this video.